We're live. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Are we live already?
Yes, it seems so. Already 20 seconds. So let's start. First of all, thank you so much for your time that you join us today. I'm talking not only about our brilliant co-founders, but also about our community who is watching our stream now. And just to give you, let's say, a kind of description, what we are going to discuss and what it is about. So RioDeFi is a blockchain technology company, and our mission is to bridge CeFi and DeFi, and also to accelerate the mass adoption on digital assets. So I would like to introduce you our fantastic co-founders and our president, Kelvin An. And regarding co-founders here, we have James Anderson, who is CEO of RioDeFi, and also Stephane Laurent, who is CMO of RioDeFi. And me, I'm going to moderate today as well. I am VP and co-founder. And during this AMA, for sure, we are going to address some important questions that we found in our community Telegram chat, as well as on our Twitter and private messages. And for sure, we are going to provide you with the main milestones, and at the same time, we are going to provide you with a roadmap and what we've achieved so far, and the vision for 2021 that was requested by our community. And let's start with the questions, I think. So first question is, we mentioned that we're going to make an incubator program. James, would you tell us a little bit more about this fantastic RioDeFi incubation program and what it includes, how projects will benefit from it and already benefit from it, because we already have about, let's say, more than 3 projects actually.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for the question, Katerina, and it's a pleasure to be here talking to everyone tonight. We love doing these live AMAs because it gives us a chance to be, closer to our community and, make sure everyone has the questions answered. So thank you all for joining us. And yeah, regarding our Incubation Hub, so we recently got published in a lot of news media about this. So we've launched a hub here in Asia to basically accelerate blockchain projects that want to build on RioChain. So we've worked with many fantastic projects so far, including Mantra DAO, which is a savings and lending platform for the Polkadot ecosystem, as well as Labs, which is doing tokenized real estate, very successful launches, as well as Leprechaun, which is a gamified DeFi DAO for prediction markets and other blockchain gaming projects. So it's really cool to have these 3 successful projects on RioChain, coming on later this year. So I think they're targeting Q3 to start moving over to RioChain. And we also have a new project that was recently announced that we're partnered with, which is Dragonbyte. So they're doing a loyalty points program that helps everyone to very easily move their crypto assets into loyalty points, as well as vice versa, the loyalty points into digital assets, so that people can use, for example, Asia Miles to convert into Bitcoin. So we think this is going to be a really, really popular platform for people to more easily move between one asset class to another. And it also makes it a lot easier for people to get into cryptocurrency for the first time, because you can very easily purchase loyalty points through their wallet using fiat currencies. This is also something that's going to soon be available on Rio Wallet through our partnership with MoonPay. And we have increasing fiat channels coming in the coming months, including the RioPay debit card. So people know about this. So yeah, anyway, it's been very exciting, and we have actually over 5 additional projects that we have not announced yet because they're still in the formative phases, but they'll be coming up very soon. that are going to be launching on RioChain later this year. So we're super excited about the success of our Incubation Hub so far, and are excited to continue talking to projects, as time continues, because we think what it takes to make any blockchain successful is usable applications, right? Something that really drives value, that is fun to use and very useful in the world. Otherwise, there's not much point of a blockchain if no one builds on it, right? So, while the approach we've taken is to really help good ideas, good entrepreneurs build their stuff, build it well on a scalable blockchain, which is RioChain.
Wow, that's cool. And also regarding implementation of these projects on RioChain, would you please tell us some dates, or maybe some, I don't know, some intriguing steps?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, many of the projects are moving on to RioChain in the third quarter of this year. So that's, let's see, between July and September. Basically, we've been working very closely between our technical team and the technical teams of these projects to figure out the best way to, move the projects over onto RioChain. As many people know, Montreal, they've taken a multi-chain approach, so they work on many different blockchains, but the core functionalities of their staking programs and everything else will be coming onto RioChain, and we're super excited about that, because obviously, they were our first incubated project and are so far the most successful. Obviously, Labs and Leprechaun are still very new. Dragonbite has yet to launch, but we see the potential of every single one of these projects to be over $1 billion market cap in the future. And I don't say this lightly, because each project that we work with is one that we see as a super scalable thing. I mean, whether it be real estate, loyalty points, finance, savings and lending, or gamified DeFi and prediction markets. You look at the other projects in that space, whether it be Augur, Gnosis, or Aave, and MakerDAO, and these kinds of projects, they're all quite massive in scope and size. So I think, building these same things within the Polkadot ecosystem with, new innovations around each of them, having the scalability, having the interoperability, having the blockchains talking to each other, it's the Web3 style of these platforms, right? So I think it'll be very huge, and we tend to look for these kinds of projects that we think have super scalable potential, because then it really highlights as well the scalable nature of RioChain, as well as the speed and low cost.
Yeah, one thing to touch on what James just mentioned is the reason why we decided to work with those particular applications is we believe, whether it's in the case of MakerDAO, Leprechaun, or Labs, whether it's the gaming industry or real estate, or more recently with Dragonbite, the loyalty program industry, we believe those different sectors are especially ripe to be disrupted by blockchain technology, because they all of them present certain already a familiarity with digital currency, like the gaming industry, others like the real estate industry or the loyalty program industry are crippled by a lot of inefficiencies, and which can be solved to a large extent by implementation on blockchain technology. So those four different applications that James just described are all very different in nature. They all tackle different industries. But the reason why we focus on these particular industries is really made on purpose, because we really believe there is a great business opportunity in addressing those particular sectors.
Well, thank you, guys. I have nothing to say, nothing to add here, because this is a full answer. But on the other side, I would like to ask you, Kelvin, what do you think? Because you've been involved in many projects, you've been working in many areas and with many funds as well. So what do you think about the projects, what they will get from RioChain, from RioDeFi being incubated?
So the incubation. Oops.
I think she asked Calvin.
Oh, sorry, Gary. Please go ahead.
Calvin, I think you're on mute.
Sorry? Okay.
You can hear me now, right?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. Stephane, you can answer that. Go ahead.
Right, thanks, Philip. The way we conceive this incubation program is probably quite different from what other blockchain projects or blockchain infrastructure projects do it. As I mentioned before, we have curated these 4 applications so far that we are working with because we believe they can service industries, each in their own respective rights, that really can benefit from blockchain technology. And as such, when time comes to integrating those projects, we are really providing a comprehensive support, not just at the technical level, but also at the business level, on the marketing side, because we believe so much in the potential of those projects that we really want to make sure that they nail each and every one of those different aspects. So it's not a loose type of collaboration that we have entered into with those projects. It's a very close and careful combination of skills and know-how, industry know-how that we are bringing to those projects that we believe is very important in a very competitive industry and also in a very hard industry to navigate. We know blockchain technology and cryptocurrency space moves very quickly, and we believe that for those projects, those companies that choose to work with RioDeFi and our technology, we really need to see them at different levels for them to be successful in the implementation of blockchain.
So I'll just add a little bit. Basically, I think it's a very good strategy on the part of RioDeFi and RioChain to incubate all these projects that is related, that would complement the RioChain and the whole entire RioDeFi ecosystem. So the strategy that I've always been talking with the 3 of you would be that instead of sitting here and waiting for people to come up, we go and look for the right companies to come on board so that the ecosystem can be completed in the perfect timing that we need. So I really do think that this strategy of doing it this way is the best for the whole entire ecosystem.
Well, thank you so much. I totally agree here. And at the same time, I think that starting from 2020, blockchain is going to change, and it's more about cooperation, and it's more about cross-chain technology where we are staying and what we can give to the project. Because all of us, we've been in the industry since I don't know, like since really long time ago, 2012, 2014, 2017, anyway. And we can share all our expertise, and at the same time, we can share not only our experience, our connections, but also our tech, advanced technology, what is really cool. And for sure, regarding marketing initiatives and business developments, we do have projects with it as well. And we have special projects who would like to join RioChain. And James, maybe could you please tell us more about this fantastic opportunity for projects who would like to join us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of interesting ones coming through. So I see someone has asked about NFT projects and whether we have any building on RioChain. So actually, we have 3 NFT projects that are building on RioChain at this time. So we absolutely are, helping to create, for example, NFT token standards that could be on not just RioChain, but also within the Polkadot ecosystem using the Substrate framework. We think it's absolutely crucial to have these kind of native NFTs within Substrate, as it'll help many projects to be able to have, for example, NFT marketplaces within the Polkadot ecosystem. There's many of these NFT marketplaces popping up, but I think what's really going to differentiate them is the style, the feel, the communities that they're targeting, what they're selling, whether it's curated or not. So, I don't leak too many details of projects before they're announced. So I'll kind of leave it at that, but we are definitely working very closely with at least 3 NFT projects at this time. We also have a cross-chain DEX that we're talking with. So they're basically already signed an agreement with them to build on the chain. And that project, I think, will take many more months to fully be realized. But certainly this year is what they're targeting. So we're excited about that because, this is DeFi at its core, a decentralized exchange, trade assets, various different blocks. I mean, this is what a lot of people are working on. Obviously, there's a number of them within the Polkadot ecosystem already being formed, but I think it's one of the critical things for anyone to have the ability to trade in a centralized manner. And beyond that, let's see, there's a blockchain gaming project we're working with as well. That's in its early stages, and a few other projects talks with. So, it's quite a busy time here.
James is reviewing everything.
Yeah, maybe it's a fault. I tend to be very detail oriented sometimes, and I definitely want to make sure that any project that's working with RioChain in our incubation program, at least, is something that's obviously legitimate, that the team is dedicated to building the thing, to making sure it's going to do well, not just during its sale, but also in secondary markets. Obviously, to have real value created and delivered in the world. I invested in over 40 different cryptocurrency projects over the past few years myself. I think now during this bull market, it's even more. So I mean, these projects, right? I've seen a lot of kind of BS in the space, let's say. And obviously, as an investor, as someone who's building actively in the space, I hate to see that, right? Because I'm definitely what you call a blockchain true believer. I think I'm in it for the purposes of building a new financial ecosystem, and I really do value the decentralized aspects of cryptocurrency and making things obviously not just more distributed, but also faster, more scalable in this. So there is sometimes this kind of, as everyone knows, the blockchain trilemma. There's this sometimes struggle between decentralization and scalability, right? So oftentimes you have to take a phased approach, and so obviously everyone is familiar with how RioChain, RioDeFi is tackling this, but the whole substrate ecosystem, the Polkadot ecosystem, as it launches, as it gets to scale, this is going to allow for many more innovations to happen moving forward. So.
Well, that's cool. And recently we had AMA with Dragon Byte, where you mentioned Rio Club. So we announced the launch of fantastic Rio Club. The details we are going to share with you shortly, but maybe also James, Stephane, you could tell us about details. Just in general, it is the opportunity for investors, for who would like to invest just small size into projects on the private sale or pre-sale. So Rio Club is fantastic opportunity for them, and amazing step, I think, just in the whole blockchain industry. As before, you had to invest minimum 50K or 100K in good projects, and now you can invest less, much less. So
sure. Stephane?
Sure. So we discussed a moment ago about our incubation program and how closely we try to support and be involved in the implementation of these projects. And fundraising is a big part of this progress. And we thought that as our ecosystem expands, we also want to reward our community for their support, for supporting RioDeFi, RioChain, and who are investors in our fuel, to be involved as well, to become stakeholders at a higher level in this ecosystem by receiving the possibility to invest at the very early round in the new projects that we incubate. And this is the main idea behind the Rio Club. It's basically turn these the RioDeFi believers and supporters into stakeholders in the entire RioDeFi ecosystem. So the conditions for these participants to become members of Rio Club are quite simple. They just need to invest in RFuel, to hold on to a certain amount of RFuel. Basically, it's kind of a premium membership for those people to reward them for their support.
Yeah, absolutely. And go ahead, Tom.
Okay. So basically, Rio Club allows everybody, our few friends, real fans, to jointly invest with me, right? Or with Rio. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So
so everybody is going to look at that. You are going to get in at the price that we get in, or I get in. So this is a fabulous idea that came out from James and Stephane. This idea brings to all our Rio fans who have been supporting Rio the opportunity to get in at the price that big VCs like myself can get in. So I give the thumbs up, man.
Well, me too, I could say, because I'm talking to different kind of investors, and I had really positive feedback after this announcement of Rio Club, because not so many people can invest that much. And for sure, they still would like to join the project. And now, if you see, there are so many different launch pads, and like ideal market is really developed, but no one gives access to private sale or to pre-sale when you have like small amount of money. So,
Thanks for highlighting that, Katerina, because I definitely think it's a key point of the Rio Club. What we're doing here, we have, as many people have seen, the Rio Fund name has appeared on a few different projects. We do have a small investment fund that we utilize for various projects, their private sales. And what we decided to do is to share this benefit with our community, because most people, they find it very difficult to get access to private sales because it's oftentimes reserved for VCs, as Calvin mentioned. And so we wanted to reward holders of RFuel to gain access to these same private sale allocations. So that's how we can share with our community to give RFuel another form of utility, and also to make sure that the due diligence that our investment analysts are doing, that due diligence and that all that work can be provided to our community. And of course, everything has risk, right? Nothing in investment is risk free. So please do your own due diligence. Definitely don't just invest in something because we did. That goes without saying, I think, but I always want to say it because I used to teach around financial education, and I think it's very important that people realize this. However, what these early stage allocations can give you is at least preferential pricing, good terms, and the ability to get in something before it launches through in many cases an initial DEX offering. So yeah, I'm very excited about this program. And I see someone asked actually a question about, let's see. Oh yeah, maybe I know we still have some questions maybe, so I'll let Katerina, I think you probably have some more questions for us, but then I'm just itching to get into these community questions because I see a lot of good ones here. So yeah, let me know, and then we can pull it up on the screen as well.
Just one thing about the Rio Club initiative. We will share very soon on our Medium channel and across our social media all the details related to this initiative and the requirements to become a member of Rio Club.
Yeah, sounds cool. Well, so just like follow us on Medium, on Twitter, and on Telegram group chat and announcement channel to know like more information, to know not only about RioDeFi but also about Rio Club. And regarding, let's say, the main question of the week, of 2 weeks, I don't know, about our roadmap for 2021, because we already achieved some milestones in 2021, like for instance, generic asset bridge that we launched, and that highlights the possibility of cross-chain and also asset transfers. But what are we going to do in 2021? Because we haven't showed our community the roadmap, although we had it internally, and maybe this is a moment when we can share it.
Isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So can we share the screen?
You should be able to share the screen.
Okay, let me share my screen here. 1 second.
Everybody is intrigued now.
Yeah, me too. Let's see.
We could even count down like 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I pulled it up here. 1 second.
James, we believe in you.
Here we go. Let me. Okay. Is it showing up?
No. Oh, now yes.
Coming.
Okay. Can everyone see?
Yes. Voila. We made it.
Okay, so we'll be sharing this also in the Telegram group. You guys can share it so that everyone can see the high-res version as well. So this is our 2021 roadmap. So we've been working on quite an expansive ecosystem, and this has been quite the undertaking for us. Many people have mentioned that certain things were delayed, certainly compared to what we had originally anticipated. We had some upgrades that we had to make because Substrate 3.0 came out, and we had to update the address format of RioChain. So we have done that now, and I saw a question in the chat as well about the mobile wallet. When is that coming out? I can tell you it's coming out very, very soon for the Android version, and then the iOS version should be within the next few weeks. So everything is proceeding on that front, and we have excitingly, as mentioned in a previous AMA with OKX, we've integrated with OKX Chain, and now also we are completing the integration with Binance Smart Chain. So within the mobile wallet, you'll actually be able to access dApps from both the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem as well as the OKX Chain ecosystem. We think this is very valuable to have these sort of cross-chain applications within Rio Wallet, to support various DeFi programs across different blockchain ecosystems. And as part of that, we've also built a bridge from RioChain to Ethereum, also from RioChain to the Bitcoin blockchain, utilizing our generic asset bridge. So now users can move any sort of token. Well, right now starting with RFuel, ETH, USDT, and Bitcoin, but in the future we'll add many more ERC20 tokens. And we do, as you can see in the roadmap, under our, let's see, it's under the RioChain system here. We'll be adding cross-chain support for many different blockchains in the future. So many of the ones within the top 20 will be the first ones we focus on, especially, of course, Polkadot. We'll also be looking at integrating and having native Kusama support for RioChain and Rio Wallet. And then, you can see, obviously, we have been working on the NPOS testnet on Rococo. So that, actually, we completed our part for that a while ago and are just waiting to be added to the Rococo testnet so we can test out the parachain auction functionality. So we do plan on participating in the Polkadot parachain auctions later this year when they go live. And we're also in talks with exchanges about their crowd loan programs for the Polkadot parachain auction. So we can do, crowd loans from our community through the parachain auction modules that Parity has created, but then we can also work with the exchanges to have these access to their crowd loan programs as well, which includes benefits such as like liquid staking, so that you can actually have liquidity even while you're providing support for the parachain and these kind of things. So it becomes a really great program for people. So with RioChain's core development, we're expanding our validators ecosystem later this year. We plan on launching our RioDeFi grants program as well to encourage more people to develop modules on RioChain. And we'll be creating a Telegram group for developers as well to come and learn more about what RioChain is, how they can build on it, access to the documentation and steps for getting involved. And as a layer 1 blockchain within the Polkadot ecosystem, this is going over a lot of the creation of new standards because many of them have not yet been built. So this includes security token standards, similar to how Polymath has built a standard on Ethereum. We are seeking to build a security token standard within Substrate. There's an NFT token standard that's definitely needed. In the short term, what that means is actually just having compatibility for the Ethereum virtual machine, which we've been working very hard on, so that applications that are built within the Ethereum ecosystem can very easily be moved onto RioChain. This will also include the token standards that are built within the Ethereum ecosystem moving onto RioChain as well. And then from there, we can start also developing the native substrate-based versions of those token standards to improve the efficiency and interoperability within the Polkadot ecosystem. Of course, with RioChain support also comes support for the dApps built within the RioChain ecosystem, including Mantra DAO, Labs, Leprechaun, Dragonbyte, and all the future dApps, which I've hinted at. So Stephane, maybe you can go through more of the roadmap so that we can have a mix of voices here, because I know you've been spending a lot of time as well on the exchange side of things. So maybe you can hit up that one next, and then we can continue.
Thanks, James. Just to give you a better sense of the strategy that's really underlying this roadmap that James just described in detail. Our goal, and since day one, is really to bridge blockchain-based finance, DeFi, and traditional finance. And all these different elements of our ecosystem that we are building really are a mean to achieve that. So those different applications we are working with, such as Mantra DAO or Leprechaun, are a way for us to increase our reach in the DeFi space, provide a broad suite of DeFi services. And then we have initiatives with our real wallet, the integration of fiat payments, our debit card that's upcoming, and very soon our exchange that are a gateway for us to traditional banking, payments, and capital markets. And I'll just take an example to illustrate how really we aim at bridging this traditional financial world and DeFi. And that's the example of Labs, which is a project dedicated to fractionalized real estate. And Labs really exemplifies this notion of providing financial benefits enabled by blockchain and cryptocurrencies, while disrupting an industry which is, in the case of real estate, the most valuable sector in the global economy, which is an economy in the trillions of dollars, and enable basically users to access traditional investment vehicles using cryptocurrencies and blockchain. So all these different pieces of the ecosystem that we are building also take time, and I would like to emphasize that this is no simple task to bridge this traditional finance and traditional capital markets with blockchain technology. There are technical implications, there are legal implications, and financial implications that we are also addressing to make this dream of bridging DeFi and traditional finance reality. So that's very much the philosophy underlying our roadmap.
Okay, sounds cool. Well, thank you so much for detailed explanation of the roadmap and for finally sharing it with our community. And from my side, I could add that, first of all, I see that we are moving forward step by step. Maybe not so fast, as fast as you would like regarding our community, but I could say that I don't know any big name, great projects who has been moving fast. And from our side, we would like to deliver the best we can, not just a product to say that, oh, hey guys, we just accomplished it. No, we would like to test it. We would like to be sure that it's working. We would like to know that you will enjoy using it. And that's why basically sometimes it takes us a little bit more time regarding delays, because I know like we had lots of messages about delaying, but it's not because of, you know, like we don't want to show you or we don't work. We work hard in order to achieve what we promised and to show you and make you enjoying the product, you know, not just show. And for sure, I am excited about Rio Wallet, Rio ecosystem, and Rio Chain, and the projects that are going to be on Rio Chain as well. And more projects are coming soon. Now we have Dragon Byte that we recently announced, but also we have a few more projects that are coming to be going to be on the Rio Chain pretty soon. And I think that our community will really enjoy it. So
yeah, one of the things with you know, our ecosystem that Stephane mentioned is that, you know, we are combining this traditional finance with decentralized finance, and in doing that, you know, you have to kind of have your foot in two different worlds. You know, the DeFi world that we all know and love, and the sort of licensed and regulated world. But you know, both are necessary, especially as cryptocurrency continues to go more mainstream. That's why with Rio Exchange, we've taken our time to do it in the legal way, the proper way. So, you know, we're very excited for the launch of that later this year. You know, we don't have, you know, I see a question from a community member, you know, what are the fixed timelines on these in your roadmap? All of these things we plan to have completed within 2021. As I mentioned earlier, with our wallet, Rio Wallet, which you can see on the bottom left side there, we'll have our mobile app for Android released very soon, within the coming days. And then for iOS version within the next few weeks. We also will have, coming up within the desktop version, the native R-Fuel staking. That's a few weeks away as well. Same with Oauth Integration and the DeFi pools. Now, all of these, though, we do plan to have during Q2, you know, even on the earlier side, because, you know, we know a lot of these things were originally on track for Q1. As I mentioned, we had some upgrades we had to make sure everything is compliant with the upgraded version of Substrate, and also that everything is secure, and we've had extensive user testing to make sure that it's bug-free and that your assets are very secure. So, you know, that always takes precedence for us. Rather than rushing out something that we think could have bugs or issues or security vulnerabilities, we want to make sure that it has time to be fully tested and be a smooth experience when it does launch. As many of you know who have tried out Rio Wallet, the transactions are lightning fast. You know, they happen within 2 seconds. They take 0.1 R-Fuel. You can send Bitcoin, USDT, ETH, R-Fuel. You know, you can send these very quickly via the transfers on Rio Chain. So, you know, we think as more dApps come onto Rio Chain, as the ones Katerina was mentioning, you know, this will be incredibly valuable. And having access, you know, one of the biggest pain points for many cryptocurrency projects and for dApps is to actually get access back to fiat currencies. And that's why, you know, in the top left corner of the roadmap, you can see we have in our ecosystem the Rio debit card release. So we are very excited that we have a debit card that's very much in progress. We hope to have it out within the next few months. I don't have an exact date for you, but everything is moving. The design, as you can see, is up there in the top left as well. So we think it has a very slick look. And we will start in the coming weeks to get a wait list for people for the debit card. Now, we do also have our first batch of people that will have access to the debit card are, of course, those who purchased the Labs RioDeFi NFT card, which gains for the top 50 people who got the blue card that gives you first access to the debit card. Now, there are country restrictions in place, so certain countries will not have access to the debit card, but we'll share all that information as soon as we have it. And in terms of real finance, we've mentioned this before. This is the fiat on and off ramps of our ecosystem. This is the DeFi pools, so this includes the ability to stake our fuel, not just for rewards in our fuel, which is the on-chain staking that's mentioned below, but to be able to stake our fuel to actually gain rewards in other cryptocurrency tokens, such as USDT, for example. So, we think this yield farming as a service is something that's going to be related to the DeFi pools because we've found reliable, consistent ways to generate high yields in stablecoins using protocols such as Uniswap as well as Thur Finance. And what we found as part of this process is that the average user cannot gain from these protocols because of the high gas fees of the Ethereum network. So if you're going to gain 20%, in a year from staking, a stable coin, all of that 20% goes away when you pay $30 in gas fees. Now you're already behind, right? So there are major economies of scale when it comes to staking and yield farming, and so we can actually do that as a service for our community. So for people holding our fuel especially, but also for people holding USDT, we can actually generate yields at a much higher rate than what you'd be able to if you did it individually because of the gas fees. And there's also certain boosting that can happen with various protocols that require a larger amount of tokens staked. So we can gain access to those boosted yields, which we can then pass on to our community. So we're super excited for that, which will come in the next few months. And in the future, later this year, we'll have structured wealth management products and services. So, as mentioned previously, we are going down the path of working with licenses in various jurisdictions and complying with global regulations so that we can offer high-yield financial products to people in a secure manner and in a legal manner, because we think the blockchain space will continue to become something that corporations and other large entities will start to get more and more involved in, as we've seen with Tesla, buying quite a lot of Bitcoin, taking Bitcoin when they sell their cars, these kinds of things, and putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. That's the first step. What's the next step? Well, if you can have that Bitcoin earn yield for you, that's a fantastic opportunity. Have your Bitcoin earn more Bitcoin, right? So these kinds of opportunities are something we are definitely on top of and are excited to share with our community later this year. And so, with this roadmap, you can tell it's quite an ambitious undertaking, but, we're very confident that we have the ability to accomplish all of these things this year, and we are very much excited to unveil them as they come through. So, yeah.
Okay, sounds cool. Well, I'm always excited when you're talking about this innovative approach, and especially connecting DeFi and CeFi. So yeah, here we go. And basically, I also would like to ask the questions that we found in the group chat, because the person cannot attend AMA, but he wanted to know when do we think RioDeFi will be fully completed and running with all our power and with all its power and features. Sorry.
Sure. So, the answer is RioDeFi, or RioChain at least, is already running, right? So our mainnet is live. You can move assets onto it from other blockchains. You can transfer our fuel at the speed of RioChain, which is within 2 seconds. But of course, it's an evolving progress. Tech development never stops. It never sleeps. It continues on. And so, when will RioChain be final, or when will our development be finalized? I mean, technically the answer is never. We'll always be building, we'll always be creating more value for our ecosystem. But in terms of, what makes a comprehensive blockchain ecosystem valuable, I think what's covered in our 2020 Run roadmap is a huge leap in that direction, right? So once we have many different dApps on RioChain, once we have all the fiat on and off ramps established so people can move between over 100 different fiat currencies into our fuel, then use our fuel to purchase things in the real world using the debit card. These are things that are happening this year, and some of them within the next few months. So we're super excited about that, and we think what has been missing in many different cryptocurrency projects is that you have to bounce around to like 30 different ecosystems to get everything done that you want to do. And what we've done with RioDeFi is to combine a lot of those things under one brand, one ecosystem, so that the products are integrated. It's kind of the super dApp approach that you see in many large companies, especially in Asia, with things like WeChat. It's not just a messenger app. You have WeChat Pay. You have automatic bill pay. You have all these extra services. You have shopping and other things all integrated under one roof, right? And so that's what the approach that we've taken with RioDeFi. Now, some people say, oh, you need to specialize in only one thing. Well, yeah, a lot of projects do that, and God bless them, because now we can integrate their services onto our chain, right? Because it's very helpful for those who can sort of focus only on one thing. But there's definite benefits to be gained when you can smoothly move between all sorts of different types of activities. Like you can have your banking type services included with your trading type services, included with your wallet and decentralized storage type services. And you can bounce around between these things at any given point with one interface, one smooth ecosystem, with one currency that's fueling it all, and that's our fuel. So, maybe it's quite the ambitious undertaking, but that's the route we've gone. And maybe Calvin, you can share some things on this as well, because I know this, you've obviously had a lot of guidance for us as a team that you invested in, and obviously you're our president, so your vision has been key in helping us to take on this massive vision, right? So.
Well, I think the vision for RioDeFi is right. I just want to tell everybody to be calm, no need to worry. There is really nothing to worry about in RioDeFi. This is probably one of the companies that I put in a lot of my personal money into it, and so on. And it's also one of the hardest working co-founders, the 3-person that is on the screen now. Katerina, basically, she sleeps so little. Her timing is both Europe, US, and Asia. Anytime you look for her for a meeting, she's up, whether it's 9 a.m. Hong Kong time or 2 a.m. Hong Kong time, she's always there. It really shocks me. James and Stephane basically works every weekend in the office. So you have seriously a very, very dedicated co-founders team here that actually all the real fans out there need not really to worry about, because they have the company in their heart. This is what I really say from my heart itself. Okay, so as far as the vision of RioDeFi, as we go along in 2021, you will see more stuff that is going to happen within this ecosystem. I believe all of us are building up the ecosystem towards achieving something that is scalable and long-term. We would be one of the blockchain and cryptocurrency company that will be around 3 years from today, 5 years from today, 8 years from today, even 10 years from today. Okay? Because those 3 guys are still young. They can run for another 20 years, right?
I hope so, at least.
Yes. So just be cool, be calm. Seriously, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to worry about. I see on the chat group, Somebody says that to update more often. To be very, very frank, there's not a single time that when I come to the RioDeFi office that I do not see these guys having meetings. I think in a single day, James have easily between 8 to 12 meetings. Same with Stephane and so on. And it's shocking that every time suddenly I'm in a meeting and I hear Katerina's voice 3 p.m. And I thought that, hey, at 9 a.m., I only saw you having a meeting, and 3 p.m., you are up again. You know? So this is a really, really, really good team, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kelvin. Well, from my side, I would like to say that definitely, I think that we will be here not only for 1 year, not only for 5 years, but for much longer. Because what is the difference between us and maybe other projects is that we are definitely living RioDeFi. We are definitely consider RioDeFi as something special, and we want to achieve what we promised. Not because we want some, I don't know, money or power or whatever it is that some co-founders actually do. When they raise the amount of money, they stop working. No, we are working harder because we know what we promised, and we know what basically what we are going to achieve, what we want to provide the world with. It's not only about the project, it's about the whole ecosystem, and it's about blockchain, it's about, the whole world where we could bring our best, where we could bring technology, and we could give really mass adoption of blockchain technology that will help millions of people, especially who are living in poor countries. And at the same time,
what Katerina you just said is very, very right. Raising the money is the first step of the beginning. It is not the ending.
And yes, definitely we are going to work even harder because we, as you see our roadmap, in order to achieve it, you need to work hard. And you need to have this special connection between the team that we have. We are really connected to each other. I could say that we are working 24/7, and we are discussing all the business ideas, business strategies together. And Kelvin, thank you so much for advising us, because you're a professional, you know, how to achieve some ways better than we think, and we do appreciate it. We do appreciate all your help, all your support. And yeah, so let's go with the community questions, with the questions in the group chat. I saw some.
I see a good one by the Wolf. It says, "Are we still pushing to win a slot in the parachain auction?" Oh, by the way, Stephane, I think you might have the ability, if you can throw this on the screen, perhaps. I'm not sure. You can select the question, or maybe you have the ability to select the question. Yeah.
James, should you?
There's one by the Wolf. Yeah, here we go.
Screen. Take away the share screen.
Oh, yeah. Let me stop sharing. Yeah, are we still pushing to win a parachain slot, a slot in the parachain auction? If so, what's the likelihood for us to succeed? If not, how does this affect Rio as far as price and utility going forward? So, absolutely, as you can see in our 2021 roadmap, we are definitely participating in the Polkadot parachain slot auctions. So, and as mentioned before, we're in talks with exchanges for how we can work with them as well to participate in the crowd loan programs in order to have people stake DOT with us. Yes, because the costs of DOT are quite significant. Of course, it's unknown at this time because it's an auction, so it could be any certain amount of DOT, but I mean, I've heard potentially 2 million DOT or something like this, which would be 60, or maybe, let's see, what's the current price of DOT? Somewhere around $70 million worth of DOT, right? So yeah, we raised $20 million, but that's not enough to have $70 million worth of DOT. So we absolutely are going to need our community support to win the parachain auctions. Now, how do we do that, and how do we gain people's support? Well, obviously one way is through our fuel. So for the people staking DOT with us, they can get RFuel rewards. And so we'll definitely be sharing more information about that program as the parachain auctions draw closer. It'll also be based on what the going rate is for parachains at that time. Because it's kind of a balance you have to draw, right? Because if you give away too much RFuel, that could put selling pressure on the token and bring down the price potentially. But obviously, winning a parachain slot drastically improves the cross-chain interoperability and enables you to earn income as well, because other people can actually rent space from you as a parachain. It's called the para-thread functionality. So other projects can actually rent your parachain space to send data up through the Polkadot ecosystem to validate. So this is quite an interesting way of tackling the cross-chain interoperability that Parity Technologies has created with the Polkadot ecosystem. We're very excited about it, and yeah, we definitely plan to participate in that. We're pretty confident that we can succeed because our ecosystem has a huge community of supportive followers, and we have a number of people we've talked to that are definitely staking large amounts of DOT with us. So we're excited for the upcoming parachain auctions later this year.
Yeah. Thank you. And also we have another question about there were also some questions about parachain, but I think you answered them fully. And another question, just a recent one, do we have any plans to bring more liquidity to RFuel? Well, yes, we do, because we are going to sign a few partnerships quite soon that will bring us more liquidity. Some of them, these partnerships are considered like partnership with exchanges, and you will be one of the first who will know about it if you follow our announcement Telegram channel.
Yeah, absolutely. And our Uniswap pool, last time I checked, between the RFuel ETH pair has over $3 million worth of liquidity on it. So there's actually the ability to trade large amounts of RFuel with very little slippage. Decentralized exchanges, as we talked about earlier, are definitely the future. As we've seen, Binance itself has PancakeSwap on it, which is a very highly liquid decentralized exchange. And so, we're looking at ways to move on to there in the future as well. So there's a lot of opportunities with DEXs to increase the liquidity of RFuel. And of course, as Katerina mentioned, we're also in talks with major centralized exchanges for new listings, because we absolutely think that traders deserve as much liquidity as possible for their tokens.
Also, without disclosing too much at this stage, but as some of you have mentioned in the chat, we are working on this exchange solution, and so certain details cannot be shared at this stage, but there will be a very great number of ways through which this exchange solution will connect with our DeFi ecosystem and with RioChain and RFuel. So this current situation or current relative lack of liquidity for RFuel, once we launch this exchange solution, will not be an issue.
Yeah, and as a reminder for everyone, you can also purchase RFuel and other cryptocurrencies on our website using, if you go to the buy crypto option at the top of riochain.io/riodefi.com, you can actually go to buy crypto, and that's through our partner MoonPay. We have an integration with them to enable people to purchase cryptocurrencies directly through that interface using bank transfers for certain nations in Europe. And also debit card transfers globally. So that's available, and we have additional partners that we'll be working with for fiat on-ramps in the coming months. So we're excited about those as well.
Yes, sounds cool. And another question I saw, it's about marketing strategy. It was earlier. What are our marketing strategy? I think this is the best question to address to Stephane, our CMO. For me, I will let from my side regarding the community later on. So yeah, please go on, Stephane.
Right, thanks, Katerina. So our marketing strategy is in line with our business strategy, and as I mentioned earlier, we are really trying to connect DeFi systems with traditional finance. And those two worlds have a schedule of their own, and there are different requirements. If you build, let's say, a pure DeFi platform, let's say a decentralized exchange, you don't need to, or you have very little level of legal compliance that you need to abide by. And basically, it's a permissionless system, so you don't need to ask permission to anyone to develop this solution and to launch it. Whereas in our situation, what we're really trying to do, which is not a simple and easy task, is we're really trying to connect these DeFi solutions with regulated institutions and platforms. And so there is a number of implications in this endeavor, because we need sometimes to obtain certain licenses or certifications or approval to be able to launch this service. And this goes especially true for our exchange solution. And now, when it comes to marketing, there is a good number of implications that come with developing businesses that are regulated by, let's say, traditional financial authorities. And I think it's important for our community to realize that we need to work with a number of partners to achieve these solutions. And a lot of our marketing in the next few months will revolve around those collaborations, those partnerships, those licenses that we are in the process of establishing. And obviously, we cannot share this information at this stage. So I understand there is some anticipation about this. But when all these partnerships and licenses can be announced, I think our community also will realize, okay, this is what it was all about, and that's why it took so long. But this is something that we don't have completely control over, because it involves a number of stakeholders and partners that, again, it's not a pure DeFi, blockchain, and cryptocurrency play. It's something that aims at bridging those two very different worlds so far. But if you look at what has happened over the past 6 months, we have seen traditional capital markets and coming into blockchain in the form of investment. A number of institutions have made it public that they invested in either Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other cryptocurrencies. We've seen recently the IPO of Coinbase, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges. And there is an obvious rapprochement between capital markets and blockchain and DeFi. And we believe that this is where the real business opportunity is in the long term. If you take the example of Coinbase, this is very much an example that we want to follow. It's taken them more time than other exchanges to rise to prominence, because they decided to do things the right way by being compliant, by partnering up with banks, and always working in close collaboration with the regulator in the United States and in the other countries. And this is the way we are working at RioDeFi. We really want to position ourselves as some sort of equivalent of finance, at least in the philosophy, in the approach of our work, especially in Asia. So this takes some time, and it's not just the technology that needs to be implemented. It's this ecosystem and these different levels of infrastructure, either technical, legal, commercial, that needs to be built at the same time as we are working on.
Yeah, and in regards to the overall marketing strategy, a lot of what we would consider our big guns on that are kind of saved for product releases, right? So as our wallet rolls out in the coming weeks with the new version of, or excuse me, the first version of the mobile wallet, obviously we now have our version 2 of the desktop, like web version of RioWallet. But with the upcoming functionalities of Oauth, native RFuel staking, the DeFi pools, the fiat on and off ramps, like we want to have the ability for people to interact with the RioDeFi ecosystem, with RioChain, Rio Wallet in very meaningful ways that can earn them income, right? And so once those ways come online, we absolutely will be blowing up the marketing, really pulling out all the stops. We've been in talks with a number of large influencers who are ready for us, when we start releasing products, that have more functionality, especially once more dApps are fully onto RioChain. Those communities as well will be experiencing Rio Wallet, RioChain for the first time. And if you look at the community of MontraDAO, Labs, Leprechaun, DragonBite, you have over, between those combined communities, I think there's over 30,000, maybe 40,000 people that will be coming on to RioChain and experiencing our ecosystem, right? So this is quite massive, and then also the influencers that work with those projects will start to see, RioChain as well, and see the technology, see what it's capable of. And when you look at all that, when you look at the other projects within the Polkadot ecosystem, you look at the Polkadot section on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, I think people will start to see that our fuel is in fact very much a hidden gem or a low cap cryptocurrency that has a lot of upside potential, right? So I think for those of you who have been with us for quite a long time, obviously a lot of people are wanting everything to happen immediately, and trust me, I would love to have that as well. But we have a lot coming on the marketing side, on the product side, and as Stephane mentioned, there are things outside of our control. There are certain, governmental entities that we're working with, financial institutions that we're working with, that the decision-making process can take time. But believe me when I say it's quite a massive undertaking. It's something that will absolutely, I see, Gopinath said, any hint what could be the big news and when can we expect that? It definitely has to deal with financial institutions. It has to deal with governmental entities. And it's going to change, finance in general, and especially the cryptocurrency space, but not just cryptocurrency, but financial institutions as well. And it also has something to do with NFTs, but is also far beyond NFTs. So I can't announce it yet. Sad to say that there's still some things that have to happen on that. I know everyone's like, oh my gosh, this has been for forever. And, I probably shouldn't have hinted at it so long ago. I sometimes get very excited about things, as you can probably tell, and sometimes share them too much. But anyway, so the marketing is definitely happening. We've actually expanded our marketing team as well, and are continuing to hire people. We've also onboarded ambassadors, and we'll have a formal ambassador program in the coming weeks that will, be able to ramp that up even more. Huge shout out to some of our key ambassadors, Michael with CryptoCito, and also Mario, who's our ambassador in Portugal. He's really done amazing work to help promote the RioDeFi ecosystem and to get us connected with people. Also, huge thank you to all of our community managers, and for especially the ones in the various countries around the world, for connecting us to very large communities. So we're definitely keen to start shouting about RioDeFi from the rooftops and let the world know that we exist, that we are doing incredible things in the blockchain space and beyond, and that our products are game-changing when it comes to finance.
Yeah, thank you so much for such a great overview regarding not only marketing strategy, but also business strategy. This is a key, and I totally agree with Stephane, who mentioned it first, and also with James, that marketing strategy and business strategy, both of them, they're really related to each other. And for sure, we are trying to not only, doing senseless marketing, but also related to the products and also to our initiatives. Also, we recently in 2021, we've already expanded our marketing regarding the staff that are working also for RioDeFi, but also regarding the community, because we've added Latin America as one of the key countries for our marketing division. At the same time, we made quite big efforts in Indonesia. We also started to attend conferences online and offline in China. And at the same time, we've been also working with different KOLs in Asia mostly, but also globally. So definitely lots of stuff to work on, but lots of achievements already. And definitely we are going to expand our marketing team further, and also our marketing initiatives with our ambassador program and many other features. So yeah, just stay tuned and we will see more. Regarding other questions, so time frame, what's the time frame for that week, month, or end of the year? Well, I could say that everything what we've been mentioned, it's one of the last questions. Everything what we've been mentioned, we are going to go step by step. So it means that time frame definitely is 2021, but I don't think that we will stop in 2021 and say, everybody, you know, like it's end of 2021, guys, we are not going to do anything. No, we are not going to say so. We are definitely going to move on and to also to look at the market and to adapt to the market needs, and definitely to implement new products, new projects on RioChain, and also new initiatives from our side. So, okay. There is another question. What will be APY for RPO staking on Rio Wallet? James, could we announce it now, or should we wait for our announcement of staking program on Rio Wallet?
Yeah, I mean, the staking on Rio Wallet, what I can say is it will be at least as high as the staking programs everywhere else, but at the beginning it will definitely be higher than other staking programs. So, you know, we definitely want more people to jump on Rio Wallet and give it a try, especially since they'll have incredibly low gas fees. So that's, you know, definitely beneficial, as a lot of times in order to get compound interest or something, you know, you might have to restake, that can cost money. And so with on RioChain, actually, we'll have an auto compounding feature so that your staking rewards can just be reinvested back into the ecosystem, back into the staking pool, so that you can essentially have compound interest there. And so yeah, I'm not going to say the exact staking APY just yet, but yeah, I can say that it will be at least as high as the highest programs elsewhere.
Okay.
I see a number of questions related to the price of our fuel, and though we usually want to restrain ourselves from discussing price, as Chief Marketing Officer, we are just saying this. Usually price of cryptocurrency depends on two things. One is the utility of those currencies, and the other one is the attention that those currencies have across the world of social media, and I think a coin like Dogecoin exemplifies this very well. The only thing I can say is when it comes to the roadmap that we have presented to you, and the upcoming announcements that we're going to make, and the type of solutions that we're going to bring to the market, we're going to get both utility and attention a lot. So that's my answer to the questions related to the price of our fuel.
And speaking of utility, there are some things I can start to unveil now. So obviously we've mentioned about Rio Club. You'll need to stake our fuel to join. I've seen a couple of questions. The Wolf was asking about various tiered systems. At first, we'll just have a single tier. It's that you need to stake 70,000 R fuel. So that is the amount that we'll start with, so we can see how much interest there is, and also we want to you know, make it something that's a premium tier benefit for people, because there's only so much of a private sale allocation to go around, and we want to give people something meaningful. So for the people that have been with us that are staking large amounts of our fuel to gain access to those private sales, But over time, we'll have additional staking functionalities, as I mentioned before, with the DeFi pools. You can stake RFuel not just to get the native RFuel staking rewards, but instead you'll have the option to stake RFuel in order to get USDT. You'll have the ability to stake RFuel in upcoming products that we'll be launching in order to get premium benefits. You'll be able to, some products actually will require RFuel to be staked or used as a means of payment. On Rio Exchange, there will be discounts for the people that use RFuel as a form of transaction fees. So this is similar to how other exchanges work. You can get discounts by paying in the native token. So this is an additional utility to RFuel. We'll also be using a portion of the revenue generated from the exchange to purchase RFuel as well, which we think will be something to, as the ecosystem grows and over time, we have a certain amount of staking rewards and other things, right? Like we'll need to refill those buckets to keep the incentives alive for the community. And so one of the ways to do that is from revenue generated from fiat to be funneled back into the ecosystem, to be getting more RFuel to refill those buckets, to keep the rewards high for our community, those staking RFuel, those using RFuel in their day-to-day interactions. We're also in talks with a number of companies. You've seen some of the partnerships, right? We've recently partnered with Unifarm, which allows you to earn RFuel by staking into their pool, as well as to earn a number of other cryptocurrency tokens. In the future, we'll be doing many more of these types of staking rewards programs, as we've seen a number of different platforms that offer liquidity mining for providing, for example, RFuel and ETH. Obviously, you can do that on Uniswap. You can earn a percentage of the fees generated from the trading volume. Obviously, the decentralized exchange that's going to be building within the RioDeFi ecosystem on RioChain, there will be many benefits for staking RFuel there. And so there's a number of things that will continue to, of course, all the dApps within the Rio ecosystem will require RFuel to function. So over time, the utility of RFuel will grow significantly. And as Stephane mentioned, that is one of the two things driving the value of a cryptocurrency token. And the second thing, of course, is the attention. And the attention of the world will be on RFuel as the ecosystem becomes super expansive, valuable, and scalable, right? So when you have massive decentralized applications that are delivering significant value to their communities, utilizing a fast, scalable ecosystem, blockchain such as RioChain, then the attention will be on. And of course, as we ramp up our marketing to attract attention to these products. So we have a huge campaign planned for the launch of these things, and we're very excited to be rolling them out within the coming weeks. So I think that's probably it for tonight. Thank you all very much for your questions. We'll continue to answer them as we always do in the Telegram groups and on future AMAs. So yeah, that's it from my end.
Thank you so much. Thank you for summing it up, and also thank you for your time, guys. Really appreciate for talking to you, and especially for clarifying for our community what we've been doing so far and what we are going to do in RioDeFi. And thank you so much for everybody who joined us today or who will join later when the record of this AMA will be available. So definitely. We will be happy to answer your questions once you have them, and from time to time to be in the group chats to to enlighten you with some information, some details. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.